gets rough.
Rain was threatening for our last qualifier for Steel Commander Superbike, but then all of a sudden, in the last couple hours, the skies have opened up.
The lap time that Cam Beaubier did this morning was incredible, and he broke the lap record.
If you struggle in the wet, you can't dread a wet race because you're already beat up mentally. You know, you got to tell yourself, okay, today's going to be the rain race where I figure it out.
It's just sprinkling light right now, so maybe by the end of your warm-up session it'll stop.
I have the patience in my soul, 'cause I know that it's worth it.
All right, let's go, buddy.
These emotions fill my heart as it drops every moment. Give it all that I got.
Cameron Beaubier, leading this championship, is no stranger to these conditions.
Let the race come to you. Points are going to be important, okay? If it's there, great, but points are super important.
Watch the spray coming off the racetrack as they head down into turn number 1. Bobby Fong on the 50, trying to find any grip and loses some places, but it's going to be Josh Herron on the number 2 who's going to lead us into turn number 1.
I was a little bummed it started raining.
It looks like a bid for the lead as the number 6 Beaubier goes to the front.
Made my way up a couple spots. I was struggling pretty bad with the engine braking at the beginning.
And you can see both bikes backing in now. Cam Beaubier, he made some mistake. That's going to put Beaubier back into 7th place.
After that, it was starting to feel pretty good.
Cam's on the move again.
Don't go to sleep on that number 6, Greg. There's red splits for Cam Beaubier in sector 2.
I went into turn 1 with a few laps to go.
And it looks like Beaubier down.
Turn 1 for Cam Beaubier. He is down.
Yep. Championship points leader is in the kitty litter with 3 laps to go in this one.
Cam Beaubier, that lap by, went 2:33.5. Greg, he was 2 seconds quicker than the guys in front of him.
I broke a little later than I did before, and the rear end came around, and it just like never came back. It high-sided me off right before the gravel trap, and took a pretty good tumble in the gravel, and I smacked the back of my heel pretty good. Turns out I broke my heel. It's broken all the way through and like slightly separated, so I'm gonna talk to Dr. Brian and figure out what the next step is. So I'm just bummed, man. I feel like I've been riding really good. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my luck. It's a bummer just to struggle to stay healthy right now. So but just gonna try to keep my head up and go home and figure out what I need to do for this thing and go from there.
Round 1 of the Superbike season began at Road Atlanta. Before Cameron's crash in round 3 put his comeback bid on hold, his start of 2024 was identical to his start from last season.
It was an exciting winter for MotoAmerica, and I think that this year, going into our 10th year anniversary, our first race here in Atlanta, there's been so much movement, so many changes. I think on paper, this definitely works out to be the most competitive one we're going to see this year in Superbike.
You've got Loris Baz making his return to the American Championship on a second Ducati. JD Beach making his return to road racing. Then you've got Sean Dillon Kelly also making his return to the MotoAmerica Championship from Moto2. Jake Gagne, who's won the last 3 championships in a row, and he's hungry to get his 4th. He doesn't want to lose that number 1 plate because he's been running the number 1 so long. I'm sure he probably wouldn't recognize his bike with a 32 on it.
Cam Beaubier is one of the most talented riders that I've ever seen ride or even been close to. When you see him on track, it looks like he's not even going that fast. He's so strong mentally. He can crash 2 or 3 times a weekend, and he'll go out there and win the race.
It's hard to explain what makes Cam special. The best way I can describe this is that he is able to push the bike beyond what most people would say is 100%. He can get more out of the bike and go over that edge where it's comfortable, but then he can hang out there for a little while, go beyond what most people can.
Early on in qualifying 1, Cameron lays the bike down.
Throwing the bike down the road the first round of the year, that's never fun. It knocked my confidence a little bit.
Coming in. What side did you crash on?
All of them.
Honestly, weren't sure if we were going to be able to get the bike back together just based on the video. Looked pretty bad.
The front brake, reservoir, a bar.
You want to just swap out the whole master cylinder?
Yeah.
I'm going to go grab the other tank.
Superbike MotoAmerica is a one bike rule. The way that bike flipped, I don't think he's going to be able to get that back out.
The crew works fast to get him back out.
I was just in there just trying to do whatever I could do to keep things rolling.
Look at all that gravel rash.
So we look now at Cameron Beaubier. See the bike out there on pit lane with tire warmers on it. Roger, that means his session is not over yet.
Everything feels all right. Should I just stay out there? How much time's left? It's up to you.
We were able to get him back out and 15 minutes left, and I feel like we did a really good job in a short amount of time.
Beaubier held the fastest lap for 21 minutes in qualifying 2 on Saturday.
These riders are still getting up to speed, but Cameron Beaubier making quick work of it and finding some pace early on.
Cameron must be on her cue.
Bobby Fong, 23.6.
He moves himself up to the top.
Don't set up right yet, bud.
Bobby Fong is showing that this team came out to play this season, Roger.
And he's shown them that investment, that sacrifice they made this offseason was worth it.
That thing looks like it's on rails, Nick.
We've done our homework on the off season, and we came into Atlanta feeling good. We're working well, and it's a sweet, cool, smooth environment over there.
Bobby takes the first pole position of the Superbike season.
Just looking at the qualifying order, Bobby Fong, Sean Dillon Kelly, Josh Herron, Jake Gagne, and Cam Beaubier 5th. I mean, what a top 5 we have.
We made a conscious decision at the end of last year. We're going to step up our game in every respect. The work that they've done matches just about anything I've ever seen in the world.
I honestly believe you're the most consistent there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 25, 24, not bad. The most laps at 25 or 24.9.
Although it's a race weekend, Bobby still has commitments for his full-time job.
Well, we're here in Dainese, Atlanta. One of the store openings just opened. Basically, we have some of the riders here, including myself. I'm going to talk to some of the people here, basically show face and show the new store. It's actually a good area, nice looking store too. So it's good being here, man. It's good attending some of the stuff. I attended some of the retail stores, meet and greets before, and it's good meeting new people, and you just kind of chum it up. And I think a lot of these people are going to the track too.
Me and Bobby know each other from probably when I was 10 years old, when I was hanging around Martin Cardenas in the paddock. When I went to ride for a team back in 2012-13, Bobby was also a teammate. I was very young back then, and he was younger too, but he was older than me, so he was kind of taking care of me in a way. We've always been good friends since then, you know. Bobby, these look like they fit you, buddy. Just your size. It's great to be back kind of together and working kind of as a team in a way, because we're supporting the same brand. It's cool to have him around.
So we were looking for somebody for this position where they could go to races, but also go to events, do activations for us, come to store openings. And I just happen to know Bobby from a lot of years, and he happened to reach out to us because he was kind of looking for a job. And I said, look, we actually have this job available, which is great. It's right up your alley. You're going to be able to go to racing weekends. You're going to be able to race, and then afterwards you're also going to be able to help the other riders and help us. So, if you want it, it's yours.
Having a full-time job and competing in 2 classes makes the race weekend logistics important.
This year it's going to be a little bit better. We spoke to MotoAmerica and stuff, so we're planning on both team rigs being a lot closer to each other, so I'm not running around, and the Dainese setup just being a little bit closer to everything, so I'm just not running around back and forth like I used to.
Okay, he has no position yet, but the fast time is 31.3.
A gearing issue surfaces in the first session on the bagger.
What's up, bud? Doesn't shift, man.
Doesn't shift?
Like it shifts like or it doesn't. No, it just doesn't go into gear. It pops out, like it drops out while you're on the gas, while you're on throttle,
Is that the only gear?
Yeah, but every other gear, it's like, it doesn't feel like it's all the way in gear.
Unfortunately, we can't rebuild the transmission on the pit lane.
No.
Between sessions, the bagger crew gets the gearing issues settled, and Bobby ends up with provisional pole in Q1.
Bobby Fong on this number 50 just put himself up into first, so Bobby has certainly found something.
Let's go, bud. There you go. Oh, 29.6. 29.6. Yeah, boy. That's right, boy. Good job, you bad. Good job, Bobby.
It's not over yet, everybody.
It's not over yet.
Not over yet.
You're all right.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, feels good, don't it?
Still got to stay in front of them tomorrow.
Let's go. Have fun, Bob.
It's just amazing that he's on provisional pole after the first session of qualifying here in King of the Baggers and putting it on pole in Superbike. And we talk about the physicality of Road Atlanta, but being able to just push yourself and push these bikes to that limit and do it ahead of the rest of the field, that's pretty impressive.
Second he walks over here, he's on his bagger.
Yeah.
Before he even leaves there. Sometimes he stalls over there to just process.
Yeah.
He downloads with the team. I think he finishes processing and then just delete file. Like, I told him everything I know, now just delete. And he opens up his bandwidth and he comes over here and he starts looking at all this these numbers and his stuff and his boards, and he's like, doesn't even think about that thing.
No, just
that's it, he's an animal.
It's so crazy.
After final qualifying, he ends up P2. Before Road Atlanta kicked off the Superbike season, Kayla Yakov spends the day with the IndyCar team in St. Petersburg.
Going to St. Pete the day after the Daytona 200, that was pretty crazy.
I didn't know that we were going to be able to get that close and really in the pits.
I sat right down next to Bobby Rahal.
Great job yesterday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. How are you doing?
Good.
It was great meeting you.
That was the first time I actually got to meet him in person.
I used to watch IndyCar a lot when I was a kid. Now I wasn't sure what the fan turnout would be like. It was really a big turnout.
It's really special to be there and just feel welcomed.
How's everything going this weekend with you guys?
We didn't qualify very well. I mean, it's close, but I say very well. He's, half a second off the fastest guy. But, so we end up, everybody's so close.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew, he used to race Formula cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what?
Atlantic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. SCCA or what?
Yeah, just messing around.
Club races or pro races?
No, club races, like the national stuff.
I've always been super into car racing. That's something I've thought about, maybe after I'm done road racing in, 25, 30 years, go into a car racing thing.
So much different, it's so cool.
There were so many people around us. It was like a sea of people. And I'm just freaking out because this is I've never seen so many people around one person.
Watch out, people! Please stay home!
I'm fine trusting you driving, right? Something you're quite used to.
Hey, Bobby.
It's like a whole different world.
It was great for her to come to the IndyCar race at St. Petersburg, to see what we do, to see how different it is. Great job yesterday.
Thank you.
I'd give you a hug, but I'm soaking
No,
wet.
it's all right.
You
You're
don't
fine.
want to hug me right now.
You did good this morning.
So how do we find a spot? Somebody get penalized?
Yeah, the end of the race.
Who was it?
Bobby Fong,
Really?
illegal tank, yeah.
Too
Too much
hard?
fuel, yeah.
Ah.
but it didn't really help him. Like, everyone has the same pit stop window, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But
Their whole hospitality tent with all the sponsors, the fans, and then the drivers come out. They're almost like these rock stars, and they're telling them about their race strategy, what they're gonna do, which is, I think, really unique, and I think that was a really cool gesture that they have for their supporters and fans.
Kayla finishing 11th, that's, I have to say, that exceeded my expectations. And going to a place like that for the first time has got to be an awfully intimidating experience. Ben, myself, Graham, I think we all have to admit that things maybe went better than we thought they would.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm
Kayla.
sorry, your name?
Kayla.
Kayla.
Yeah.
K-A-Y-L-A?
Yes.
Ah, first one I got right today.
There you go.
Oh wait, you're the driver?
The racer, yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Meeting David Letterman was definitely a highlight of that experience. He's met some of my idols and my inspirations outside of racing.
You ride bikes?
I have bikes.
You have bikes.
You should hear the story. What I did yesterday, I got up really early, got on my bike. It was a Harley that I've worked on. Got on it, fired it up, rode it down to the end of the driveway, picked up my mail, then I rode it back, put it in the garage and parked. On one wheel. Huh?
Right. But the front wheel, not the rear. Yeah.
I think my wife took some pictures.
That's awesome. Cool.
An idiot, Kayla. Just an idiot.
That's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. All of us kind of are.
His part in the Rahal team for their car racing and other motorsports is pretty vital.
Great meeting you guys. I really appreciate it.
You're gonna be famous.
She's our star. We're gonna continue to try to grow that star and see where we can take it.
They truly want the best for me and the best for the team and the sport, and trying to make it as big as we think it could be.
It put together a really good team so far, and we just started, so it'll be a fun year. I think we're going to have some good results.
There's not a 16-year-old boy in America that's going to get on a super sport bike and go faster than her. Right now, it's not about her being a woman. I mean, she's like the fastest 16-year-old in the country.
Great meeting you guys. Appreciate it. See you again. I don't know when we're going to end up leaving, but if I don't get to see you again, nice seeing you. I'll give you a hug.
Take care.
Nice seeing you.
That whole IndyCar experience was insane. I had so much fun. I want to be a role model for young girls and women to show that they can get that far and women can be just as fast as anyone else. I hope to be that person, and at the same time, you know, you get a lot of people telling you you're only here because you're a girl, you're only given these opportunities because you're a girl. You get sick of hearing it, and at that point you just kind of have to look at the results and kind of look there. Everyone I race with is pretty cool, and they all deal with it the way they want to, but I know a lot of them don't want to be beaten by a girl, so I guess it gives me some motivation.
I just had some nerves going before race one. Last time I lined up for a race was last year at Pittsburgh when I got pretty torn up. So yeah, it's just had some nerves going.
It's really good to see the number 6, Cameron Beaubier, on the Tyler Cycle BMW back in race action. We certainly missed having him.
Beaubier and Gagne on the second row. Probably figured they'd be on the first row, but that's what we're going to see this year in MotoAmerica.
Starting from the pole for the second time in his Superbike career is Bobby Fong, who's pulling double duty with the King of the Baggers class and the Superbike here this weekend. This is a really physical track. What is it asking of you from a physical standpoint as far as switching back and forth between those bikes?
This is why we work hard in the winter, but we just got to keep our head on straight, conserve a little energy in the beginning, and then just go deep in the end.
Clutches are out, we're away racing. It didn't look like our pole sitter got a good launch either, Bobby Fong, but it looks like it could be Sean Dillon Kelly, and there goes Josh Herrin up the inside.
Josh Herrin doing what he does, getting out front early, but Jake Gagne now, that number 1 plate He is going to get in the draft of both these motorcycles as they head down that back straightaway. And you got the two BMWs as Beaubier has now got by Cam Peterson. The first 5 are trying to make a small breakaway early.
Down the hill comes Fong. Is he going to make a shot? He does. He takes a shot. He's going to go up the inside, and Bobby Fong will take over the lead.
I saw Bob and Herring going at it. Man, I really just want to keep it up on 2 wheels and not take too much risk.
I don't think there was anybody here that was going to be putting money on the number 50 to get on the pole position in our opening race this year.
He's the only rider that has a job outside of being a motorcycle racer. A couple riders behind him, it was Cameron Beaubier at a 25.1, so far the fastest lap of the race. As now the battle between the BMWs rages on with Cameron Beaubier taking over 4th spot. Bobby Fong up the inside for the lead. Surprise Herring, and now Herring gets forced off the racetrack. He wasn't able to make that corner after being surprised by Fong.
I didn't mean to ruin his race, but I am going to make aggressive passes. Like, that's just part of the game. Like, watch MotoGP, watch World Superbike. I mean, what do those guys do? We're all here to try to get first, to do the best we can, and we can't be super polite out there.
Gagne trying to drive up the inside, up the hill. And just as we said things were settling down, all of a sudden it's getting racy up there. Gagne, the number 1 plate to the lead. Bobby Fong in 2nd. And now Cameron Beaubier in 3rd.
I had some motor on Bob, but it seemed like I kept catching him at the worst time, like going into the kink, and so I was just trying to be patient.
Beaubier now goes by Bobby Fong down that back straightaway. Bobby Fong turns it back, though, and goes back past Beaubier as they go down into turn 10.
Track was pretty greasy. It was pretty easy to make a mistake.
Onto the back straightaway with a lap and a half to go.
Man, Beaubier goes through on Fong, and now Beaubier's going to look down the inside.
First time he hasn't rolled off.
Cameron Beaubier, he actually crashed earlier in the weekend there. And here comes the fight right back by the number 1 plate. Gagne wants to lead this. I think he's got something in the tank. We're going to the white flag lap. So now all bets are off here in the Steel Commander Superbike race number 1.
I really wasn't close enough to make a move unless I did a Hail Mary. I felt in my mind like if I would have did a Hail Mary, it would have risked, a shot at the podium.
Jake and I went back and forth a couple times there at the end, and Bob was riding really good too.
The BMW's got a lot of horsepower. He hasn't done a lot of drafting and passing, but here he goes on the back straightaway. So Beaubier takes the lead. Down into turn number 10, and Beaubier leaves it so late. Can he get it turned? He does a great job. Gagne now with a couple bike lengths between them. Up over the hill they come. We're going to see if Beaubier's going to park it up the inside. Down the hill into the heartbreaking corner. It's Cameron Beaubier back to MotoAmerica Superbike action onto the front straightaway. Beaubier behind the bubble pulls the trigger and holds on to win by 0.2 of a second over Gagne and Bobby Fong rounding out the podium. Welcome back to MotoAmerica, Cameron Beaubier.
Man, I thought you guys were trying to see who could go the slowest for a little while there.
It's awesome to start the year off with a win like that. And it's going to be a good year, man.
I wanted the team and myself to get a legit 3rd, and they deserve that. But now that I got that under my belt, these Hail Marys might come more often.
Bob, we're in the right spot. If we can do this at Atlanta, stand by. Yeah, I'm telling you, we're good. We're gonna have some very good races. Yeah.
Bobby has no time for the podium as the King of the Baggers race is close to gridding up.
I put that in my position to do 2 classes, yes. But I feel like there's a few racers who are doing baggers and Superbike. They need to kind of help us out a little bit. Let us celebrate.
Cam's always had an idea in his mind about when it's time for him to stop. I don't think having a family's changed that at all. A lot of times in the background you hear people, oh, well, family now, you've got a kid, you've got this, you've got that, but that stuff doesn't come in your mind when you're racing. Like when you line up on the grid or you roll out of the pit lane, like that's not the first thing on your mind. You're focused on your job and what you have to do, and racing takes such an intense focus. Like if there are things that are going on in the back of your mind, you're not going to get the job done and you're not going to compete at the level you should.
Red lights are on, revs are up, here we go. And we're away, and boy, Bobby Fong did not get a good launch.
Man, Bobby really didn't get off the line very well.
Just went from hero to zero pretty fast.
Well, I don't think it's going to hurt him too much, Greg, once he gets that bike going here. You're going to see him, he's back there in 6th spot or so. I expect Bobby, he just came off the super bike, let's not forget.
It takes a special type of rider to be able to do that, and Bobby is that kind of rider who can jump off super bike, jump on bagger, and be on the podium on both bikes.
Bobby Fong's got a problem. You can see him back there. Everybody's going by him, unfortunately.
Just a bunch of weird stuff happening that was kind of beyond our control.
Fortunately for the 50, looks like he's not going to be competitive in this one.
He finished the race. We were pretty happy with that.
I'm doing something wrong, so I need to work on the starts on that thing. That's usually I'm known for being, at least back in the day, I'm known for being good starts, but in the past year it's just been I feel like as long as I don't have the full row behind me past me is an accomplishment these days.
Mother Nature overnight drenched this track. It's been wet all morning, and this is going to be a tricky race.
Josh Herron got a good launch, but it's the number 1 Attack Performance Yamaha of Jake Gagne, who will lead us up the hill to turn number 2.
Hey, one guy that didn't get a good start was Cameron Beaubier.
To wake up this morning, see it raining, it's just like, dang, you know, I had never ridden the BMW in the rain yet.
Look at this bike, Greg. It's just literally not moving. It looks like it's just set up perfect for him.
Didn't have the best first couple laps, got shuffled around a little bit. I was trying to be patient and not do anything stupid.
He's just got 36 flat to Jake Gagne's 37 flat, JD Beach at 37.2. So he's reeling these guys in by a second a lap right now.
I put my head down and I started feeling good.
Cameron Beaubier continues to close the gap.
JD again in turn 1. That's the second time in turn 1 that's happened to JD, and Cameron's going to be able to go past him this time. I was just going to say, I don't think that Cameron's been in a big hurry to get past his teammate, and it was just a little mistake there by JD Beach in turn 1 that allowed Beaubier to do something with him going up the hill. Now we'll see if Beaubier's got something for him.
JD
Beach down.
And boy, that happened to Jake Gagne just moments before, where the rear end of the motorcycle went completely sideways, but Gagne able to save it. JD stayed in the gas, and it doesn't work out for him.
Love this guy, man. He's got so much heart.
There in the last couple laps, it was going to take something too big to risk throwing a podium away.
These two heavy hitters have all those championships, 8 of them between them.
You got blocked on the outside there.
Gagne is going to move over to the left, and he's going to block that pass from Beaubier. He moves back out and does not give Beaubier his shot. Tremendous riding defense there by Gagne. He's got to get the bike squared up out of here and protect that inside. That's exactly what he does as he comes over the top of the hill.
One more opportunity for Cameron Beaubier. He's got to go up the inside, but Gagne, very good maneuver to try to close the line off. Beaubier trying to square it up and get a drive, but wheel spin, and it looks like it's going to be the number 1 plate to the line, and he holds off Cameron Beaubier for a 1/10 of a second victory.
He protected that inside line really good, going into 10 and then also in the last corner. So yeah, hats off to that guy. He rode really good. It was a bummer to hear what happened to JD because he was riding amazing and he was sliding that thing all around. And it's really good to have him back in the paddock, and especially as my teammate.
Cameron finishes behind Gagne in second, a repeat of last year's opener, as they come away from Road Atlanta tied on top of the standings. Bobby finishes P10 and realizes to contend he needs to be better in the rain.
I do well in the wet. It's just, honestly, it's really track dependent and everybody's on the same track. So it's just something that I personally need to work on.
The best thing about the Baggers races from Atlanta for Bobby is that they're over.
They're gone and we're away racing, and Bobby Fong with a horrible start again. But Troy Herfoss gets a good one.
I mean, he is dead last as Bobby Fong almost going in turn 1.
Even with a success in qualifying, it just doesn't translate to the races. He finishes last in race 2 for King of the Baggers.
We expected to do much better than we did. It's nothing Bob's done.
Win or lose, we always stay positive.
My bagger team has been working really hard on swapping a lot of things over there. Kudos to those guys, but we've had a rough go at it. So hopefully, from here on out, we just have a little smoother run. Just a little luck on our side.
So much damn work to not have a result. When you know you got the guy, you know you got the bike, you know you got the team. Like, what is happening?
Back in California, Bobby keeps up the training with some cycling.
Cycling in Redondo right now is awesome. Obviously, the views, you've been there, it's amazing. I can't complain. Hilly, it's great. You know, big paths for bikes, 70 and sunny every day. Obviously, I rant and rave about it all the time. So like other weekends, I'll do like this Saturday morning. It's called like when it's not raining or I'm not out of town. I try to do like that's one of my big rides on the weekend. Like a heavy day. It's called the donut ride, and we meet like literally half a mile from my house, and then we just we kind of do this whole little loop, go up in the hills a little bit. It's about 55 miles ish, so it's not too bad. But no, I mean, you can't beat the damn views around here. It's kind of a bummer because I've been meeting a lot more cycling friends in Redondo lately and doing these group rides and just kind of getting to know everybody and just been kind of feeling more like home, you know. But I'm going to move back up north to Folsom. And one of the reasons why I'm moving to Folsom is the cycling. That's like a big thing for me, is being able to leave my front door and go on a big bike ride. You know, I won't have the ocean view and it'll be hotter than hell up north, but I'll be in some hills and there's a lot of other cyclists and stuff like that. And now I'm gonna move, but you know, I'll do the same thing up north and make some friends. And it's such a weird deal, cycling. You never know who you're gonna meet. You famous people, like people from all different aspects of life and sports. It's just crazy in the cycling community who you meet. And it's just a good group of people and just suffering together on a bicycle climbing up a mountain.
On the next episode, the king of the baggers invades COTA with MotoGP.